And so what's happening today in America that should outrage everybody? He's taking this very same agency that has been bursting into our schools, into our churches, into our hospitals, into our courts, and even into the homes of Americans. He's taking that agency that is reckless and out of control and bringing them to our...
Things were supposed to be out of control, with chaos spilling into the airports. So apparently Cory Booker thought he and other Democrats would show up, set up a podium, and speak directly to a frustrated crowd. But here's the reality: there was no crowd. Why? Because TSA had received support from ICE, which was brought in during the shutdown situation tied to political gridlock. The result? No long lines, no visible chaos, no audience. So now you've got Booker standing there at an airport that's actually running smoother than expected, with nothing like the scenario he planned for. It really makes you question the approach. A lot of this feels like headline chasing, creating moments built on outrage instead of actual policy solutions. And in this case, it completely backfired. Now, on top of that, there's also a major announcement coming from Donald Trump that puts even more pressure on Democrats. But take a look at this.
Look at this.
Get ICE the hell out of our airports. Donald Trump has brought chaos into our airport in New Jersey. This is his way of doing things. Chaos, cruelty, and corruption. That is visiting upon us now because Donald Trump won't fund TSA and has brought ICE into our airport. Get ICE out of our airports. It's not good for our customers. It's not good for flying.
So this video is going viral everywhere right now, and when you really pay attention to what's being said, it raises a lot of questions. You hear people shouting, "Get ICE out!" But let me show you something that happened today that isn't getting the same attention. Before we even continue, this part matters. There's already been backlash from some Democrats, especially when they realized many of the ICE agents involved weren't just white. They were black, Hispanic, and diverse across the board. But here's the story you're not hearing. According to Department of Homeland Security, an ICE agent actually saved the life of a 1-year-old boy at JFK Airport in New York while the child was waiting in a TSA line. The child suddenly went unresponsive and stopped breathing. Video shows the father panicking as the boy went limp in his arms, until the ICE agent rushed in, acted quickly, performed life-saving aid, and helped the child recover. That's the full story. So as you can see in the footage, the father is clearly panicking, and right there you have an ICE agent stepping in to help. The cameras don't fully capture everything, but you can see the baby and the officer responding quickly. It may not be the highest quality video, but the situation is obvious, and it's something a lot of people aren't even talking about. According to Department of Homeland Security, the 1-year-old child had become unresponsive and wasn't breathing for nearly 2 minutes before the officer acted. Meanwhile, you've got politicians like Cory Booker and others showing up at airports trying to stir up reactions, even though conditions weren't what they expected. At the same time, videos are showing ICE agents helping travelers, handing out water, guiding lines, even assisting with basic checks. That challenges the narrative some people are pushing. Because instead of chaos, what you're actually seeing is support and coordination happening in real time. So this right here is the report everyone's been talking about: around 480 TSA agents calling out, with many more expected to follow. And the reason is simple. They're not getting paid during all of this. Think about that for a second. You've got essential workers showing up every day, keeping airports running, dealing with travelers, handling security, and they're doing it without pay. At some point, people are going to hit a breaking point, and that's exactly what we're starting to see. So when you hear about these callouts, it's not random. It's frustration building up over time. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because this situation sets the stage for what Donald Trump just did next, and this is where the political strategy comes into play. What he did puts Democrats in a very difficult position, because it flips the narrative completely. So let's go ahead and play this clip, because this is where everything starts to shift.
Good evening, I'm Bill Malugin, and this is your Fox News report. The TSA's acting administrator says more than 480 agents have quit since the shutdown began.
It is a real human toll to wake up and show up to work every day not knowing how you're going to pay your bills.
She added that the shutdown has caused the worst wait times at airports in history, and the agency's workforce will lose $1 billion in missed paychecks by Friday.
Donald Trump made a major announcement that instantly shifted the conversation and put Democrats in a difficult position. In response to reports that hundreds of TSA agents were not being paid and calling out of work, Trump announced he would take action to fund them directly. This move changes the political dynamic. If Democrats oppose it, they risk appearing against paying essential workers. If they support it, they lose leverage in the ongoing dispute over immigration and funding priorities. Trump criticized Chuck Schumer and other Democrats, accusing them of prioritizing immigration policies over national stability. He argued that the situation at airports reflects a broader crisis and said immediate action was necessary. To address the issue, Trump directed the Department of Homeland Security to ensure TSA agents receive payment. He also praised both TSA workers and ICE for maintaining operations, emphasizing that he would not allow disruptions to continue. So here's what really stood out to me. In a major move, Donald Trump signed an executive order to make sure TSA agents get paid, something that completely changes the situation. Now this puts Democrats in a tough spot, because if they try to challenge it legally, it raises a simple question. Are you really going to fight against paying essential workers? And here's where it gets even more interesting. Even CNN had to report on it. After spending weeks blaming Trump and Republicans for TSA workers going unpaid during the Department of Homeland Security shutdown, they suddenly had to pivot and acknowledge this move. You could almost see the shift happen in real time. Because the truth is, that situation gave Democrats leverage. It created a narrative they could use. But with this decision, that leverage starts to disappear. And now, instead of chaos at airports, the focus shifts, leaving a very different story than the one people were expecting.
Well, breaking news in our politics lead, President Trump has just posted that he's ordered the Department of Homeland Security to, quote, immediately pay our TSA agents, although it's not entirely clear how that will work or what authority he's utilizing for that order. I want to get straight to CNN's Kristen Holmes from the North Lawn of the White House. Kristen, I know this is like just happening. We're trying to figure lots of things out here. What do we actually know right now?
Well, we're asking all the same questions that you are. So I do want to get straight to the Truth Social post, because that's where, of course, he put this news, as he is wont to do. This is what he wrote. He said, I am using my authorities under the law to protect our great country, as I always will do. Therefore, I'm going to sign an order instructing the Secretary of Homeland Security, Mark Wayne Mullen, to immediately pay our TSA agents in order to address this emergency situation and to quickly stop the Democrat chaos at the airports. It's not an easy thing to do, but I'm going to do it. Well, I mean, that last line is kind of an understatement here. It's not an easy thing to do. We're not really sure what legal mechanism he has to do this or where this money would come from. Remember, the reason why we're in this situation is because they're fighting over funding for DHS that would then fund these agents who are on the ground. So where is the money going to come from to fund these agents? And if President Trump has this legal authority to kind of just bypass Congress completely on an issue like this, then why have we had these standoffs for the last decade over these various issues, when usually there is a president sitting in the White House who is on one side or the other when it comes to these various issues? So it is unclear what legal authority he is using or where that money is going to come from. We have, of course, reached out to the White House to try and figure all of.
So again, you see them going in circles, trying to explain where the money is coming from. The reality is, it's tied to Department of Homeland Security funding taxpayer dollars that have already been allocated but delayed. TSA agents have technically earned their pay. They just haven't received it due to the ongoing situation. Now critics are asking why previous presidents didn't take similar action. But let's be honest, how often have we seen shutdowns drag on this long without resolution? And here's where things get even more interesting. TMZ is now stepping in, asking people to send photos of members of Congress who are out on vacation while all this is happening. Think about that. While TSA workers are worried about their paychecks, some lawmakers are reportedly on spring break. That contrast is hard to ignore. Meanwhile, tools are even being created to track airport wait times in real time, showing just how serious the situation has become. It really makes you question priorities. Airport lines have been crazy lately, but thanks to some AI tools, we can actually track what's going on. When I refreshed the app, the numbers were surprising. Nashville had 0 wait, Cleveland just 3 minutes, Denver 1 minute, EWR in New York 1 minute, Houston 5, Hobby Airport 8, JFK slightly higher at 21 minutes, and LAX 13 minutes. Clearly, having ICE agents assisting at these airports is making a real difference. Their presence is helping TSA manage the flow, even under pressure, and it's showing that Trump's decision to step in gives him leverage. Meanwhile, Democrats are left in a tough spot. If they try to sue Trump to stop him from paying TSA agents, it would look bad. They're basically opposing essential workers. There's almost no political way out. So the question is, what will they do next? At this point, Trump's move is strategically strong, and the pressure is on. Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and hype the video. It's important!